Recording.
3, 2,
We're streaming.
We're live on
We're going
TikTok.
live. We're recording. We're streaming. We're going live tonight. Are we live right now? Oh, yes, we are. And holy cow, we're going to go for it because we're going live right now tonight. Is it Thursday?
Yeah.
Is it Thursday? Usually we're live on a Monday. But now we're live on a Thursday. We're going to try to double up the lives, everybody. How you doing? We're cooking. All we do is delicious, gluten-free, soy-free, corn-free, dairy-free food. And we are working on a test-a-pee when we're testing a recipe. So one of the recipe we're testing tonight is like a gluten-free blueberry crumb cake. But before we get started, we gotta play the theme song. So here we go. Hit it. Gluten-free, can't you see? That's a lifestyle for me. It's what I have to do just to be healthy. No soy, no corn, limited dairy. These changes made my gut so happy. No more blood in my poop, my intestine cleared up. I'm really glad I'm feeling so much better in my butt. People say it's hard and I'm like, hey, what? The what? Never let your food leave you sicker in a rut. When I first started, it was really hard. I was confused, emotionally scarred. But I kept learning, I never gave up. Became an optimist, half filled in my cup. I make delicious food, no, I don't need air. It's for my well-being, this is why I care. I'm not doing this to be on trend. I do it for my skin and my rear end. Look at me, gluten-free, now my body's happy. Mindset matters, embrace positivity. If you want to win, if you want to succeed, hit the follow button and you'll learn from me. Gluten-free! Hey everybody, alright, so this is really special. This is the first, one of like the official first bakes we're going to do. If you see anything that we do today, and you want the recipe, send us an email, get in touch with us, do a DM, whatever the heck those private message things are. Listen, if you want it, you're going to come get it, right? If you want it, you're going to come get it. So we're going to do, we're making up a blueberry kind of delicious thing. It started with blueberry muffins.
Yeah.
And then it moved on to a blueberry crisp.
Yep.
And then it moved on to a
blueberry bar.
A blueberry bar.
Sort of like a crumble bar.
Like a crumble bar.
Yeah.
And now we want to try to make it like a blueberry crumb cake. So we're gonna do we're getting all these different ideas and put them together, and it's a gluten-free, soy-free, corn-free, what did I miss? Dairy-free, blueberry crumble cake.
Yes.
All right, Stacey, take it away.
We do use eggs, so it's not vegan, but you could substitute if you wanted to.
Yeah, and you can do your vegan egg substitute, but I will tell you, when you're dealing with gluten-free, especially gluten-free flours. Hey everybody in the Facebook group. I know I go right there in the Facebook group. I lost the shit. There you go, folks. That's an ADHD moment for you there, right there. Completely lost a train of thought in the middle of a train of thought because I cut myself off. All right, go ahead, Stace.
Alright, so we're gonna make the crust and the crumble on top at the same time, and then we're gonna separate them. So the first thing we're gonna do is I've got everything separated out. But I melted a third of a cup of the butter that we use is the Earth Balance soy-free buttery spread. And then I've got a half a cup of regular organic cane sugar, and then a quarter cup of maple sugar, which is also organic. And then you have the melted butter, and you're gonna pour those two together, and they tell you to whisk it. But first I want to make sure I get it all butter. That's important stuff. You want to get it all out. When you measure it, you want to make sure you get the whole measurement, right, when you're measuring it out. So I failed to get a whisk before we went live, so now I just go get a whisk. And then
the convenience. The convenience.
Yeah. It's so you just whisk together the butter and the sugar, and then we're gonna put in 1.5 cups of flour, and in this case we're using our local flour, which is almond flour, arrowroot, coconut, and tapioca.
Right, that's what I was saying. So whenever you do this, if you're going to use a vegan egg, wow, talk about coming back to it.
Okay.
Make sure it's wet. Like, use a wetter version of the vegan egg, especially when they're classy. Because what we've learned, the wetter, the better when you're doing gluten-free flours. Because like we have an almond, a coconut in there. So you don't really know how wet something's going to be until it sits for a little while longer. And that's what, when you're baking and cooking, you're soaking the moisture out, right? And certain things, puffing it through. So if it's not wet enough, no good. Because it'll be dry. Are you anxious? I see you doing this.
Just waiting.
Is this your body language telling me, shh, shut up, Anthony, I gotta keep going. Shut up, Anthony. She's gonna keep going.
So I said 1.5 cups of local flour, but there's also an optional 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, which we use, and then you can.
It's
just
always
mix
good to throw a little salt.
all together. Yeah, I mean it's never a bad idea, especially when you're using something. Oh yeah, can you make that 425?
Really, you want to go 425? Because I was reading the notes and I was gonna go 375 the whole time.
Okay. We do our blueberry muffins 425. So that's where I started last time. But if you want to go middle ground, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, you know what? And that's why we call them test piece, right? Because we're still learning and it's been a journey, man.
Yeah.
But it's been a really fast journey. We got really good, really quick because we just try to, because I'm obsessed. I'm Italian and I like good food. It's got to be delicious.
And right now.
So I'm obsessed with making something delicious.
Blueberries are in season right now.
Blueberries are in season, so it's the season for making all the blueberry things.
Yeah, we get to keep testing it.
And don't forget, if you want a copy of any of the recipe, just get in touch with us. We're happy to share the copy with you. We're spending a year working on recipes that are going to go in our second book. All we do is delicious. Yeah. Because delicious is all we do.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off, but I want to tell people about this stuff. At a certain point when you're mixing this, you're going to want to get your hands in there. Yes. Especially if you're using something like almond flour, because it does tend to get a little bit clumpy. And you just want to work out the clumps. However, right after this, you're going to separate 3/4 of a cup to the side of this, and that's going to go on the top. And the rest of it, we are going to pack into our baking device, which I'll bring over here in just a second. After I take out the 3/4 cup for our topping. And it says a generous. We use a generous 3/4 cup, so you want it to like
a generous 3/4 cup, just in case you get the generous.
Right.
Yes.
Because you also don't want to pack it into the measurer.
The measurer?
Yes, the measurer.
The measurer.
So there you go. That's over there on the side. Would you bring that
yeah, I got
baking dish over here?
I got you. I might also
you
do that. I might do some other things at the same time.
We're using a square baking dish, and I lined it with parchment just because I feel like it's easier at the end to be able to pull it out, and I don't know, it just.
Agreed.
Yeah. So really, you dump this into your baking device, and then you're going to use your fingers to pack it into a crust with a little bit of a side crust lip. A side crust lip. Yeah, I mean, that's not afraid I use that often.
This is exciting. I'm excited about this because we are combining things in a way that I've been looking forward to.
Okay. So just do like a general push down, and then we're really going to get a good push down.
Who?
Push down.
General push down?
Yeah.
My God, he was such a jerk in boot camp. Who? General push down?
I mean, with that kind of name, why would you be?
Right. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I was gonna say something. It was
you
totally.
Blue, weren't you?
No, I wasn't gonna go blue. I wasn't gonna go blue.
Okay.
Because sometimes I forget Tommy Lee Jones was in the Marvel universe, but then I remember.
Yeah.
He's in probably that might be my favorite Marvel movie.
Which one?
This one.
Oh.
Captain America. Captain America, the first Avenger.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Okay, so I have packed it in, I believe, as good as we can get it. Now, here's something else I will tell you. You could utilize this crust, I believe, for the thing we just posted on our brand new TikTok, which is
Gluten-free Madness.
The chocolate pudding pie. So you could use this for your crust for the chocolate pudding pie. Hey, Aunt, could you move that over and then
move which way? This over?
Yeah, over somewhere else.
You got it.
And I'm just gonna wash my hands now that I have straps. And then we're gonna make the cake portion of this crumble.
Welcome to the cake washing the hot show.
So, Aunt, would you do me a favor
Yes.
and get the mixer going so that we can cream the sugar with the egg?
Oh, it's in there already.
Yep.
Son of a
The
gun.
egg. We have 1 egg, 95 grams of sugar, the same sugar we used before, and 75 grams of coconut oil. This is half of our recipe that we use for...
Unflavored coconut oil.
Correct.
Unflavored coconut oil.
This is half of our recipe that we use for our blueberry muffins. So.
And the blueberry muffins are Disney dope. Everybody listen to the sound of the mixer, mixing the things
You just
around.
want to mix this until it lightens in color. Right? That's kind of how it goes when you cream the sugar.
Well, you don't want it to darken in color.
I mean, that would be a bad deal if that's what was happening. I would say maybe your egg went bad.
Bad egg. I was going to say this. That might be a bad egg.
Yeah, that would be. You got a bad egg. It's like, is it Veruca salt?
What?
That's the bad egg. The one from. Oh.
I'm gonna cut some Brussels sprouts in the meanwhile for din din.
Oompa Loompas.
Oompa Loompas. Oh, Willy Wonka and the chocolate chip cookie factory.
Chocolate factory.
I was called. Oh, there goes Shaker Mouth.
Oh yeah. So maybe it was Veruca. I was thinking Veruca salt.
I don't know.
That was the bad egg, but I can't remember.
Oh, please.
Oh.
Everybody mix it up, mix it up, mix it up. Everybody mix it up. That's real noisy. I'm gonna do one more verse, it won't be the worst. I'm gonna do one more verse, then we're Dunsville with the mixer. You're welcome. Okay, continue.
Then we're gonna add.
Don't
If
sing
it goes
everything.
up.
Start singing everything.
If it goes up along the sides, just push it down with your rubber spatula. But the next thing we're going to add is 134 grams of milk and 6 grams of vanilla extract. And then we're going to continue mixing for a little bit. Okay.
Everybody mix it up.
I guess I'm obsessed about using all of the ingredients out of the vessel that you choose to measure them in, because I mean you've measured them. That's how much the ingredients are supposed to be. So why shouldn't you be getting every
little piece up? I'm impressed that you get how every kernel works.
I don't know if that's like an obsessive compulsive thing or what, but I'm gonna tell you I don't want to leave stuff in a pan that we're cooking. Like, why would you want to eat the stuff that you cooked? It's like wasting money.
No, I love
it.
So, I get a kick out of it. I really enjoy it, honestly.
I mean, you don't need to mix it a whole lot because really it's just.
What's that?
Our alternative milk. So the milk that we use is Elmhurst 1925.
Yeah, if you're out there, Elmhurst 1925, I want sponsorship with you. I want a partnership. Your milk is dope. It was so hard to find good milk. Everybody out there, use their milk and then tell them Anthony and Stacy said to use their milk. So they get in touch with us and send us their milk. I love their milk. Yeah. It's so like minimal ingredients. And it goes into the thing that we talk about. Yeah. Read everything. Just read. If you read everything that you put in or around you, it will drastically change your well-being and your health. That's all I'm saying. I am not a doctor. I'm just someone who experienced life. And when you experience certain things, you just want other people to know. So if they're curious, they can experience them too.
Okay. So now we're going to add 163 grams of our loca flour, same flour as before. But you could use any gluten-free flour as long as it's a blend, right? So we've talked about that previously, but you don't want to substitute one flour for a regular gluten-filled flour. It's just you're not gonna like it. It's not gonna taste good. It's not gonna work well. And it's either gonna fall apart or it's gonna be too dense or a lot of things, right? So you want to really get a blended flour if you can.
Agreed.
And then we also have 4 grams of baking powder and 4 grams of salt. And I'm just going to turn the mixer on low. And I'm going to add a little bit at a time. Now, here's the thing about gluten-free flour. You can't really over-mix it. So it's okay to keep mixing. You know, like don't go crazy. Don't like walk away for like 20 minutes or something. but at the same time, it's not going to develop gluten like a regular gluten-filled flour would. So periodically, you're going to see that you're going to need to push it down, and that's okay. So just go ahead and do that.
Hey, can I say something we kind of glanced over?
Do it.
So listen, we glanced over it, but it's a really important fact. When they say you don't overmix your cakes if you're using regular flour, because it creates elasticity, and that's one of the beautiful things about gluten-free flours, and one of the treacherous things about gluten-free flour. But if you figure out which ones work in which ways, there's ways that you could give gluten-free flour elasticity. One of them was flaxseed. That's really good, I think, maybe for pie crusts, crusty things, right? But really the one that I fall in love with is psyllium husk, especially psyllium husk powder. It is fantastic. It is a thing that I think will eventually get me to making Italian pastries, which is kind of a little bit of a dream of mine. It's hard to tackle gluten, corn, so all the things at the same time.
Yeah.
But psyllium husk is great. Anyway, please continue on.
The dairy thing is what probably makes it the hardest. And if Anthony didn't have to do it for me, he would probably have a much easier time because he can technically have dairy.
But I want to really wow myself. You know, I really want to challenge myself, and I really want to be like, wow.
I did that.
You know,
because it's hard. Let me tell you, it is hard.
You know what always struck me was when I made that terrible chocolate cake, and you were eating like, oh my god, it's so good, and I'm like, oh my god, it's terrible. How can you eat that? And you're like, I haven't had anything this good, this tasty and delicious in so long. But making these things isn't only about taste; it's also about texture, and so it's really meaningful to me to make you feel like it's so exact. It's just so good. It's so on point that even people who don't have to eat gluten, corn, soy, or dairy free eat it and go, wow, this is delicious. What is this? And then you tell them, and they're like, oh, I didn't realize you could make these things delicious. I'm like, you're damn right I can. And not only that, I tell everybody else how to make them delicious too, because I want people to succeed. We want people to succeed.
Right. So now I'm just going to kind of ensure that everything has been incorporated together.
Incorporation.
Because we just want to do that. Make sure there's no lumps or big lumps of flour that are still left unmixed or anything like that. Because, like I said before, almond flour tends to clump up. So sometimes we sift our local flour. Sometimes we don't. It depends on what we're making. But, even if you have a little bit of clumps, when you start pouring your flour into the batter mixture, it does work itself out.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I have found that you need to really sift the local flour blend for is the madeleines. Because the almond flour tends to have a little bit of little thicker pieces in it, which in any other thing you wouldn't catch or notice or see or anything like that. But in madeleines, it's such a fine cake because it's not a cookie. That it really benefits you to sift the flour in madeleine all the time, every time.
Super fine.
Yeah. But in other things, it's not necessary. But in that thing, it's necessary, and you're going to have a much better result and enjoy it more. And that's what we really want you to do. We want you to enjoy everything more.
Yeah. So I'm just pressing down the sides a little bit just to make sure it really is packed down. And then I'm just going to pour the cake batter into our baking pan. I'm going to use my rubber spatula to just make sure I'm getting it all out. And then you're going to tap it, of course, to make sure it's spread evenly. Now, we used to do this we did this previously with our full recipe from our blueberry muffins. But we decided that we didn't want as much cake, that we didn't need as much cake. Sure, great. You want more cake? Cool. Do more cake.
Consistent.
But it's really up to you,
It's about balance. Like, this is the first time we're ever making this. But it's
this way, yeah.
This way. But it's after doing a lot of other
incarnation.
other things to come up with this. You know what I mean? So anyway,
Okay.
let's see.
So that's pretty much it. I
Yeah, I'll
mean,
do it.
I do try to get out as much of the mixture as I
As
possibly
you
can,
should.
because
Huh?
you know,
Do other
if you
people do
make
that?
if you make it, you should be able to eat it.
Yeah.
That's
Do
my-
other people do that?
that's
If
my
you're doing something like how much did you get? Are you okay with it being still on the spoon and like
yeah.
some of it, or if you need to get as much as you can, tell us in the comments what's your stitch as far as getting out the things.
That's one of the things about the baking shows that I think that I stress over, or that kind of
How much they
makes
leave
me a
behind?
little uneasy. Yes.
Yeah.
Look, you made this recipe that has specific measurements, and you're leaving all of this stuff behind. Like, how do you account for that in the recipe? Because I account for getting it all into the thing. Let me just say. Oh, you got it. Look at you, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Trying to score points in my life.
So you just do like you normally do, and you just tap it a little bit so that you make sure you get it all together. We're going to put it back over here because we're going to make our blueberry mixture. Now, I've already mixed 8 ounces of blueberries. We've tried this previously with 12 ounces of blueberries. We thought maybe it was a little too much blueberry.
Bounce, baby.
So, you know, we just decided to back up the blueberries.
I thought that we just put in an unreasonable amount of blueberries. Can you really ever have an unreasonable amount of blueberries? I don't know.
Okay, so
No,
now
we
I
have
added
fresh lemons
to
right now.
the
I almost want to
blueberries.
use lemon.
Okay, we can. No.
No, we cannot.
No.
No, we cannot.
No,
No.
only the juice if you're gonna do that.
Right. Well,
okay,
wait a minute. Hold on. This is an organic one. This is
okay,
our
well,
lemon.
that's up to you. It's my favorite thing when
Yeah,
Anthony wants to introduce something on the fly.
Yeah, she can't stand that.
It's okay. If that's what you want to do, then I'm down. It's really just a splash of lemon extract.
Yeah.
So if you want to do a little bit of lemon
Where's it going? I would switch
okay,
it with this.
so hold on, but let me get there, please.
Wait, no worries.
Okay, so we have 8 ounces of blueberries, a third of a cup of the same sugar, and then 2 teaspoons of arrowroot and a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I have already put that in the bowl, and I'm just gonna mix that up before we get the lemon in there because I want that to all kind of be combined. I didn't want any specific parts, like maybe the arrowroot, to attach too much to the lemon more than maybe the sugar would, or vice versa, or whatever. So I'm just gonna mix it really good together. Okay, so Ant,
Yes.
and you're up.
I'm up.
With the lemon.
I'm up.
What you doing over there?
I'm getting
Are
the
you
lemon.
about to cut the lemon? Do you want to do it over here and then
So I'm about to zest a lemon. I have my lemon zester, and we're going to begin zesting. I don't zest too far. I zest just the top. This was an organic lemon that came in the house maybe last, I don't remember when. But it's already been washed and prepared and ready to be present. I'll always take the fresh over the not fresh, you know, because I'm funky fresh. Because I'm Reverend A from outer space.
Are we gonna juice
I'm
it?
here to cook and tap dance for the human race. Are we gonna juice what?
The lemon in there because
No.
you use lemon. Oh my god.
Well, that's enough of the lemon.
You okay?
I'm fine, but I just threw the lemon across the room.
I mean, I guess it happens, right?
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Okay,
So in this case, we're gonna zest 3/4 of a lemon.
And there you have it, folks. I put over this because I thought we were gonna cut it and juice it. So you can take that back.
Got it. Thank you.
I wasn't sure what was.
No, my plan was to just toss the.
Alright, so now I'm gonna mix in the lemon zest. And when we make our blueberry muffins, we use almond extract, but we decided that that wasn't really the thing that we wanted to do.
No.
For this particular thing.
It's right for the muffin. It's not right for this dish.
Yeah. That the lemon, we decided the lemon was the way to go in this particular instance. So now I'm just gonna take the blueberries in my hand and just sort of spread them out in the cake. Yeah. It's gonna have a little bit of flour and stuff on it, which is great. But I don't want the sugar and the other things to clump up in certain areas when I pour it out. So I wanted to distribute the blueberries first and then be able to kind of control how I'm distributing the sugar throughout the rest of the cake. So here we go. Dan, do you have anything to say?
Nope.
No. Okay. It's like the first time ever that you don't have anything to say.
Ah,
Are you sure you don't have anything to say?
why? Is there something specific you're looking for?
No, not necessarily.
I'm working on my dinner.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I'm working on dinner because I realize how close they are.
All right. I mean, I guess if you try this recipe and it comes out great or bad, and you want to tell us about it, feel
Yeah.
free.
And if you want the
Hit us up
recipe,
with a stitch or duet if you want. And
like
I don't
if you
know.
make it.
Although it's live, I guess you can't really do that, can you?
No,
I
but what
guess you
you
can
can do
screen
is
record part of it and do something with it if you want.
sure.
What can you do? What do you say?
I was gonna say, if you're gluten free, soy free, corn free, or dairy free, like
Yeah.
we wrote a handbook called Food is a Prescription. And it's on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles or on your Kindle. Download on your Kindles. You want to be cool? You want to help us out? Download it on your Kindles. It's called Food is a Prescription. And it's also a little bit about our journey. If you don't know us, they're famous dancers whose lives were being drastically affected by our health. And then we realized, holy cow, if we changed our food, it would change our lives. And then during COVID, during the C word 19, right? Is that the cool way to say it? During C19, we had already started taking some notes, but we realized a lot of people at home, they have more time, they're on social media, and we're talking about, I'm gluten free, I don't know what to do. My son's gluten free, I'm trying to help my mom, blah, blah. And we were answering the same questions over and over again. We're like, okay, we need to compile our notes into a book, and that's what happened. And now we're cooking live every Monday night online, releasing recipes. We have a website, foodasaprescription.com. Yeah, what do you want to do? Yeah, put it on top.
Distribution.
Yeah, excuse me. I have to address some distribution issues.
Anthony's a good distributor.
I am a good distributor. I distribute the information. I distribute the love. I distribute the peace. I distribute from above. I distribute down below. I distribute. Now you know. I distribute.
Important.
Sometimes fast. I distribute.
Sometimes slow.
Sometimes slow. I got bars for days, baby.
Probably.
Yeah, it's all the tap dancing I did. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, I'm tap dancing. I don't have bars. I only have bars when I can sit and
You got all sorts of
when
things.
I can sit and think about it.
All right, so that was the blueberries and the end of the sugar mixture that we did.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So this is the topping, or otherwise known as crumble, that we set aside from before. That's the same mixture as the crumb crust. So now you just distribute it over the top, and that's really all there is to it. And then we're gonna bake that. What did we set the oven at? 375.
375.
Okay.
375.
And
ladies and gentlemen.
Some of these crumble recipes have called for like specific, like you're gonna separate out pats of butter on top and whatnot. And while that was awesome, I think that this particular crumble top works out nicely because it does have the butter in it, and I don't know, it just distributes it better, I feel like. And you can either leave a lot of clumps in this particular area, or you could try to declump it with your fingers if you want.
You can do different parts of the thing with different sections in case somebody likes more or less.
It's just kind of, it's like, you know, like in art class, like when you were a kindergartner, and they just let you kind of randomly finger paint something, and you kind of had free will, you know? You didn't have to do exactly what the teacher told you to do. You kind of had your own, kind of had the freedom to do what you wanted to do with your art piece. And I feel like that's kind of how this topping is kind of made.
It's your kindergarten art piece?
Yeah.
All right. There you go. It's your kindergarten. I like it. It's your kindergarten art piece.
Yeah. So I did it a little bit fine right at the beginning when I was distributing, and then I'm doing like a little bit clumpier as we get more to the top.
Are we doing rice for dinner?
We're gonna cook it in the oven, and when it starts, I think we're gonna do probably about. It's probably gonna end up being about 30 minutes or more. But really, what you want to look for
is I'm thinking like 35 maybe.
Sure. The blueberry will bubble on the sides, and you might even get to a point. I don't know now because we reduced the amount of cake batter, so we should be okay. But sometimes we've had to put in like a parchment-lined cookie sheet underneath it, just so that in case it kind of overflowed a little bit on the corner.
I'm the Italian, like, okay, we gotta keep everything clean. So sometimes I'll put something underneath the catch in case anything gets out of it. Escapes. Would you rather me put down one?
Yeah.
Okay. See now I'm looking at it, I'm like, let's just sprinkle a little cinnamon on top.
I put cinnamon in the thing.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Everybody doing the thing.
And then that's
Put it in, here we go.
We'll probably just do a post later to show you what it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come back and check that out. What did you say, 35? Do you
Probably
check
like
it after 30?
Yeah, like 33 minutes.
Okay.
You got it. Okay, are we done?
Yeah.
Are we done? Is that what we're doing tonight?
Yeah.
All right. So now, just for gluten-free, soy-free, corn-free, dairy-free, whatever people out here, here's how the rest of my night's going to go. We are going to make some Brussels sprouts. With, I took one fillet, and I cut it in half, and I made it into 4 medallions. And we're going to do that with a little bit of lobster tail. So we have lobster tail and filet medallions with Brussels sprouts and rice. Damn, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So, what comes first? Do we do this first and then that second? This first, right?
Sure.
Okay, listen, if you want some of our other recipes, go to foodasaprescription.com. If you have a Kindle, please download the book. You can find us on the social medias and all that stuff. The things are going on the YouTube channel, and email us if you want a recipe. We'd love to share it with you. Hit it, Stacy! Gluten-free, can't you see? That's a lifestyle for me. It's what I have to do just to be healthy. No soy, no corn, limited dairy. These changes made my gut so happy. No more blood in my poop. My intestines cleared up. I'm really glad I'm feeling so much better in my butt. People say it's hard and I'm like, hey, what? Never let your food leave you sicker in a rut. When I first started, it was really hard. I was confused, emotionally scarred. But I kept learning, I never gave up. Became an optimist, half filled in my cup. I make delicious food, no I don't need air. It's for my well-being, this is why I care. I'm not doing this to be on trend. I do it for my skin and my rear end. Look at me, gluten-free, now my body's happy. Mindset matters, embrace positivity. If you want to win, if you want to succeed, hit the follow button and you'll learn from me. Gluten-free! Alright, Stacy, what's that? All we do is delicious, cause delicious is all we do. We'll see you Monday night. We're going to start to schedule these things so you find us easier. Bye, everybody. Being gluten-free, Mindset Matters. Follow the group on Facebook. Later. You know what time it is? Oh, it's blueberry crumb cake time. Look at that. It's yummy delicious, and I can't wait to put it in my face. Blueberry crumb cake time. Blueberry crumb cake time. Blueberry crumb cake time.